What makes a city a city? And how old does it have to be to earn the title of world's oldest? Let's journey back through the ages, over 11,000 years in fact, to reveal the compelling story of Jericho. Nestled in the Jordan Valley near the Dead Sea and the border of Jordan and Palestine, this oasis city contains layer upon layer of human history buried beneath its sandy soil. Archaeologists digging here have uncovered mind-blowing evidence of early innovators, builders, farmers, traders, soldiers, and religious pilgrims spanning over 130 centuries. So, what secrets lie hidden in Jericho's ancient mounds? How was this desert outpost able to not just survive, but often thrive through the rise and fall of countless empires? And what does its endurance say about the very origins and resilience of civilization itself? The search for the world's first city has fascinated historians and archaeologists for centuries. While definitions vary, cities are generally distinguished from villages in exhibiting higher population density, complexity of occupation and social organization, monumental architecture, centralized administration, and various public facilities and services. Many contenders vie for the oldest city superlative, including Byblos, Damascus, Aleppo, Sidon, and Tyre in the Levant region, as well as settlements like Çatalhöyük in Turkey. But none have revealed as long and continuous sequence of occupation as Jericho. The first traces of settlement at Jericho dates back to before 9600 BC. That's nearly 3,000 years before the pyramids were built. And for 11,000 years since, Jericho has endured, expanded, and rebuilt, destroyed and deserted several times, but always revived. Let's travel back to take a walk through ancient Jericho. What would we have seen through the ages, and what secrets remain still buried beneath the sands? Oasis life in the Jordan Valley. Over 11,000 years ago, a lush oasis suddenly appears amid the harsh desert landscape, one of the only settled spots for miles around. This green bubble, fed by gurgling springs, features mud brick homes clustered together, surrounded by gardens and date palms. Over 11,000 years ago, a lush oasis suddenly appears amid the harsh desert landscape, one of the only settled spots for miles around. This green bubble, fed by gurgling springs, features mud brick homes clustered together, surrounded by gardens and date palms. Drawn by the sight and promise of precious water, hunter-gatherer tribes abandoned nomadic life to settle permanently, founding one of the earliest year-round agricultural villages ever unearthed, Stone Age Jericho. The fertile settlement flourishes as children play and adults farm, craft tools, hunt and weave, paradise ringed by dusty beige Judean foothills. Welcome to Stone Age Jericho. While today Jericho lies about a mile from the Jordan River, evidence suggests that spring-fed streams once ran much closer to the settlement, explaining how irrigation agriculture first took root here. While today Jericho lies about a mile from the Jordan River, evidence suggests that spring-fed streams once ran much closer to the settlement, explaining how irrigation agriculture first took root here. But why did nomadic tribes abandon their wandering ways of life to cluster together year-round? What sparked the first city to emerge from roaming bands of extended families? Multiple drivers sparked these pioneering urbanites. Swelling populations strained ancient lifestyles, incentivizing clustering for communal irrigation and grain farming rituals. Specialization took root, pottery making and trade diffusing innovations. Settlement walls and towers provided defense and symbolic identity. Rudimentary perhaps, but even Stone Age Jericho already displayed the civic design underpinning cities for millennia to come. Flourishing oasis cultures. Jericho grew steadily throughout the Stone and Bronze Ages, spanning the development of pottery, metallurgy, written script, economic administration systems to support its booming population and increased long-distance trade. Major civic construction also soared during this period from circa 8000 BCE to 1550 BCE. Remarkable discoveries revealed just how sophisticated early city planning became. Massive stone tower complexes once dominated the settlement, with an imposing system of walls, over 13 feet thick in places, enveloping the community by around 7000 BCE. Huge stone staircases led to towering fortified citadels overlooking the houses below. Excavations uncovered enormous 8-meter-high protective barriers, considered the oldest freestanding stone walls in the world, an incredible feat by Neolithic standards. Within the safety of these enclosures, neighborhoods bustled with activity. Densely packed mud brick homes lined communal streets. Underground grain silos stored surplus food to support thousands of inhabitants. Intricate pipe and drainage systems irrigated lush gardens of staples like chickpeas, lentils, and cereals. Hints of emerging social stratification. Craft workshops produced sophisticated tools, jewelry, imported pottery, and ornaments for trade. Impressions even reveal reed baskets carried by merchants over long journeys. We can imagine the once lively scene. Weavers, potters, metalworkers, butchers, farmers, traders, priests, administrators, ruling elites living cheek by jowl. The crowning glory came around 2500 BCE, when excavations revealed Jericho's rulers commanded tremendous organized labor to construct an enormous palace fortress complex, signifying the city's regional power and prosperity at this zenith. Nearly 12 acres in size, the palace quarter housed royal families, scribes, priests, and servants, with spacious courtyards for ceremonial and administrative affairs. This central complex was richly decorated with painted frescoes, sculptured molds, and brightly plastered walls up to 5 feet thick, many featuring clever built-in conduits for water and drainage. So what allowed such a mammoth undertaking in the desert? In part, the temperate climate, nearby spring-fed streams, and irrigation agriculture that allowed food production to thrive. But also, the staff organization needed to direct hundreds of workers for years on construction. This speaks to the high level of social complexity, division of labor, accumulation of surplus, and civic authority Jericho's rulers possessed. The majestic ruins uncovered reveal Jericho at its artistic and organizational peak during the Bronze Age, a masterpiece of early urban planning. But trouble loomed ahead: war and desolation, empire invasions. For all its might and monuments, Jericho's coveted wealth and resources attracted greedy outsiders. As ripples of invasion and unrest shook the ancient Near East, the oasis frequently endured the punishments of empire-building conquerors. Egyptians, Canaanites, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, and Romans systematically sacked, taxed, or absorbed Jericho over its long history. The most infamous account describes Joshua and the Israelites laying siege to Jericho's walls around 1400 BCE. Archaeological evidence confirms widespread burning signaling destruction. And while Jericho rose like a phoenix from ashes again and again down the centuries, each period of abandonment left chunks in the continuity of its legacy. Conquerors carted off stones for new buildings. Time and weather eroded structures without upkeep. New construction buried or built over the old. Imagine standing in Jericho 3,500 years ago versus 150 years ago. Would you even recognize traces of the same city? Some scholars argue that given the repeated episodes of damage, there wasn't really one continuous settlement, but several distinct inhabited chunks. Yet, patterns of restoration persist. After burning circa 1400 BCE, within decades or centuries at most, Jericho was substantially reoccupied. Over and over through the centuries, people were drawn back to the life-giving springs and fertile lands around Jericho that allowed communities not just to survive, but often thrive. Religion and ritual pilgrimage hub. Beyond worldly assets that fed its earthly inhabitants, Jericho also offered spiritual attractions. Since ancient times, the city marked itself as a locus of divine encounter, a place undefinable holy forces touch the mortal realm. Just north of ancient Jericho lies the Jordan River, where the Bible records that the Israelites first crossed into Canaan. The New Testament also declares this the spot where John the Baptist baptized Jesus, marking the start of Christ's ministry. Archaeologists have since uncovered more than 20 churches, chapels, and monasteries constructed around this sacred site of pilgrimage.